is the Entertainment Execution Lab podcast. So, do you want to know how to kill off a horror icon and a franchise altogether? Well, here it goes. Is it through a endless supply of shitty sequels and a reboot movie? No. Do you drown 'em, slash 'em, axe 'em, machete 'em, explode 'em, send 'em to space, send 'em to hell? No. It's much simpler than that. Have the franchise and the horror icon end up in a court battle for the better part of a decade. That's right, Jason Voorhees, Friday the 13th, The Court Case. Brought to you by Sean S. Cunningham, producer, and Victor Miller, the writer. Basically the co-creators of the franchise. They are in battle with each other right now. Victor Miller initially won the ruling, however, the case is still in appeal. Basically, two douchebags who don't really give a crap about the series are fighting over who owns the rights. Victor Miller, claiming he wrote the story, which he did, but I mean, let's face it, he should get off his fucking high horse and accept the fucking money he got for the film, because it was a slasher and anyone could have wrote it. It wasn't exactly a mind-blowing script, to say the least. Hell, I could have written that in a weekend. The douchebag wants money, so... But here's the thing. He doesn't even give a shit about the franchise. He left after part 1, and I don't even think that he acknowledges that any other exist. Any other films in the series. He certainly hasn't seen any of them. He said that much himself. On the other hand, you have King douchebag Sean S. Cunningham, who really wasn't all that invested in the series himself. In fact, he left after producing part 2 and didn't show back up until Jason Goes to Hell. And the only reason he bought the series back is because he wanted to do Freddy vs. Jason. So he buys back the rights to the franchise in 1991-92 and makes Jason Goes to Hell. That movie, as much as people hate it, it's really not that bad of a film. In fact, if they didn't try and pass it off as a Jason film, it probably would have been a passable film. But I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about how to destroy a franchise, and I just said it. Get the film locked up in a goddamn court case for 5 years, have two highfalutin assholes fucking argue with each other over who has the rights. Should Victor Miller get more money than he's already been owed? Probably not. I'm sorry, he wrote it outright, I know he did, but come on, like I said, I could write in 3 days, he probably wrote it in 3 days, anyone could have written that script in 3 days. And it's not like it was mind-blowingly original. Hell, even Sean S. Cunningham himself stated that they ripped off Halloween. So technically, shouldn't John Carpenter get the royalties for that film? I mean, they wrote on his back. I mean, hell, even The Day in the Title wasn't original. You already had Black Friday, Halloween, like I just mentioned. And there were even better films that were Friday the 13th based than Friday the 13th. How about The Burning? That was a better film. Sleepaway Camp was a better film. The original Silent Night, Deadly Night, though that came out a little bit later. New Year's Evil came out before Friday the 13th. By about, what, a year and a half? I mean, don't get me wrong, I might be trashing Friday the 13th right now, but I don't hate the franchise. The first 4 were pretty good, to tell you the truth, and these are films that I will be doing a review on later on down the line. But again, this isn't about that. This is about the destruction of a film franchise that lasted 30 years, pumped out 12 films, comic books, and it all had to come to a goddamn end because two jack-offs who didn't even really give a crap about the franchise to begin with are fighting with each other in court. I'd say that this destroyed the game too that came out back in 2017, but the publishers and developers of that fucking shithheap can take just as much credit for that. I mean, they spent all the time in the world getting the textures down, getting the settings right, the music right, the counselors right, the Jason models right. All they failed at was the basic gameplay, which was a complete fucking disaster. So basically, if you want to blame anyone or anything for the Friday the 13th franchise blasting out of existence, blame Sean S. Cunningham and Victor Miller, the two douchebags who created the franchise to begin with, who didn't give a crap about it, and who are now squabbling in court like a bunch of fucking kids. And don't worry, they might be 80 years old and might be leaving soon, but I can tell you this, that their estates will be squabbling over this crap for the next 30 years. So you can kiss the Friday the 13th franchise goodbye. And hell, speaking about Halloween, maybe I should do a How to Kill a Franchise Halloween style next. Maybe. I mean, there's a lot to unwrap with that one. I don't think that there's been a good Halloween friggin' movie since Halloween 3. And yes, Halloween 3 is not a bad film. It might not have starred Michael Myers, but then again, there were a whole bunch of them that did, that weren't really that good. Basically Halloween 4 up until now, with maybe an exception to H2O. But maybe I'm not even really too sure about that one, because there was a cop-out ending. All in all, Friday the 13th is pretty much gone, and what are we left with? Repurposed collections and a whole bunch of fucking fan films, one worse than the last. This has been the Entertainment Execution Lair Podcast, signing out.